Padres seem to have a golden opportunity to add some power into the lineup. Let's talk about the latest headlines and everything going on with the Friars. Back on another episode of Padres Digest. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'm Christian Pedersen, one of your two hosts of the show that is currently confused as to why there's rain falling from the sky in Southern California. We didn't sign up for this. We didn't sign up for the cold, but what we did sign up for was a lifelong curse of mediocrity for me and the Padres. But hey, there could be hope. There is always hope. But on the serious notes, we've got to talk about another international. Let's call this one a power hitter, not quite a star, but a power hitter that the Padres have been linked to. As always, I love hearing from you guys. Drop a comment below on anything this video related, or if there's something else that you want to see a video on, and if you want to join our little community of ne'er-do-wells and miscreants, because that's what you all got to be if you're Padres fans. If you have committed to this life, something has to be a little off. But hey, if you want to join us, hit the subscribe button. Let's talk about one of the latest headlines that I have seen of the Padres, and it's another international. This one, though, is Kazuma Okamoto. I want to talk about Kazuma Okamoto. He is another international star that the Padres are being linked to, and I think that if you dig a little bit deeper here, you know, sometimes with the international stuff, we gotta, you're taking a little bit of a gamble on it. But the Padres, according to this article, are officially doing their homework on Kazuma Okamoto as post-Japanese slugger hits the MLB market. I don't know what Padres doing their homework on it means. Padres do. I will give a lot of credit and props to different parts of the Padres organization, and I will also call out different parts of the Padres organization. One thing, though, that does seem to stand pretty true and consistent the last, let's call it 5 years, maybe slightly more than that, is that the international scouting and signings have been pretty good. We just talked yesterday about Kyle Hart coming back. I admittedly was on that, but that was still in the sense that like he didn't perform as like the best pitcher in the KBO. So there's always some degree of like this person's game is going to change a little bit, but I can't entirely dismiss international signings as just being like, oh, whatever he was doing there isn't going to perform here. Here's the long thing on Okamoto, and apologies as always to everybody doing this on a phone. He's a true middle-of-the-order presence who has already banked 6 home run titles, 248 career home runs, and 6 straight 30-homer seasons from 2018 to 2023 in Japan. That kind of sustained production at age 29 is going to draw interest no matter what league you're in. He's primarily a first and third baseman, but with Manny Machado locked in at third for the Padres, the cleaner fit would be at first base and designated hitter, 2 spots on the depth chart where San Diego has been searching for a reliable, everyday presence. All right, so a 29-year-old Japanese power hitter is a little bit older than like the standard issue. Usually it's guys coming out at 25 and getting like bidding war top dollars. And there is also already other Japanese stars kind of above Okamoto this year who are maybe going to draw a little bit more of a bidding war or attention or fight, or if you will. But here's what I like and kind of what I disagree with about that assessment there. They said Manny is locked in at third for the Padres, so a first DH thing is what the Padres are probably seeking. I would say that Manny is not. Manny is locked in at third base in so much as that I don't necessarily see Manny sprinting over enthusiastically to like, oh yeah, I'll become a first baseman on team behalf. But I don't see Manny locked in at third base in the sense of like he's never willing to take a day off in the field to DH and let his knees or his back or his whatever rest, recover, load management. I'm not trying to knock on studio wood, but I'm not trying to say that Manny's going to get injured. But Manny is going to be a Padre through his 30s and into his 40s, and it's unlikely that he stays at the hot corner for 160 games a season every single year, like with cat-like reflexes. So that being said, Manny, I think you could see someone like Okamoto coming in and being like, you're going to play 5 out of 6 games this week, or 6. Like, you're going to play every day, but it's going to be in a situation where 1 game's at third, 2 games are at first, and a game or 2 at DH. Look, here's where I'm at right now, is looking up and down this, and this is the depth chart of all the infield positions, and I apologies as always to people who view this on phones if my graphics are a little bit small. You don't need to know too much here, other than I think the point of this right here is just to say that we are not one piece away from this being murderer's row. This is a good, not great situation. Having minimal to no depth, really, at any of these positions, I think puts us in a situation where if the Padres come in and land like one big killer dude who's going to be at first base, like that only that fits for that one day that lineup is there. But what happens over the course of 162 when that guy goes through a little bit of a regression, or when our second baseman, sprains his calf sliding in or something? Like, baseball's a randomization sport where during the year there are just moments where like the teams just kind of held together with duct tape and goodwill. So I kind of like the thought of, yes, we want somebody to be our first baseman. Obviously, we want somebody to be our DH. But I kind of like the thought of some of you guys said this yesterday with the Kyle Hart video of, let's just accumulate arms. Let's just see what sticks. I'm okay right now with, let's just accumulate bats and see what sticks. And if we can get somebody like a Kazuma Okamoto and sign back O'Hearn and get like a cheaper, older JT Real Muto, and then we brought back Laureano and left. All of that collectively, there might not be an individual piece that we're like, oh, like perfect, it fixes everything. But like being in the category for sticking the Mod Podge of like 4 dudes who all can hit something 12 plus, like something double-digit home runs, could be a windfall for like this could be what the Padres actually need, instead of inserting prime time best player ever. Like look at the Angels. Mike Trout, generational greatness. Shohei, generational greatness. They couldn't get it done with both of those guys. I don't think baseball is a sport where you can build a big 3 type vibe. I think baseball is a sport where, unless you're going to spin like the Dodgers and just have everybody good at every single position, kind of sometimes you just got to scatter shot it and accumulate mid-tier assets. And not that a guy who is 29 and has crushed a ton of home runs is a mid-tier asset, but he's not the biggest, best prospect out there right now from the Japanese league. So I think the Padres could kind of slide in and be like, hey, international slot, like I said, let Arraez walk. They let Cease and King go. They get some draft picks there. They put some other mid-tier guys in the rotation. The bullpen is elite. The team gets a bounce back year from some other stars. I know I'm trying to get into the what ifs a little bit, but I kind of like this. I like being linked to guys who at least have some power. So that's where we're at right now. Padres, they've got another Japanese professional baseball player that they have targeted. We will keep you updated on all things going on with him and all other international signees and intrigue from the Padres offseason. Let me know, though, what you think specifically about Okamoto, but also just in general about the Padres' approach this offseason and how they're going to fill and handle some of these needs and vacancies on the team. And as always, if you want to hit the subscribe button, I ain't going to hate you for it. Talk to you next time.